Hey guys, so today I have a special video. Basically, someone that I follow named Donnie wanted to do a review of certain songs. So I gave him one of the cringiest songs from a very 19, I think, late 80s, early 90s movie called The Frog Prince by Canon Films. And I absolutely love this movie, but I know it's cringe-tastic. So after he reviewed it, reviewed the song, I decided to review the movie. Now, I will probably have spoilers. I mean, guys, 1980s, if you haven't seen this movie, you can check it out. It is free on YouTube. Someone posted it. Definitely go check it out. It is a fun, cringy, entertaining little movie. I recommend if you watch it alone first and then drag your buddies into it. Because if you're like me, I watch my cringe movies solitary because I know they're cringe, but I love them. They're adorably wonderful to me, and this is definitely one of those ones. You're gonna see why. So the movie's really good. I actually loved this movie when I was a kid. I believe the Disney Channel played it, even though it was not a Disney movie. I could be wrong, guys. This is just my childhood memory of it being on Disney. But they did a bunch of the Canon Films fairy tales, and I loved all of them. I have most of them on DVD, so I may review other ones. I do have a very poor quality DVD one, just because the only other place I could find it for sale when I was looking, because I was looking for this movie for years, and I think about 7 years ago I finally found it. But unfortunately, the only legit ones I could find were all in German. All in German. So obviously German people love this movie. But I absolutely love this movie. And it's got a great cast in it. The three main famous characters, we'll say, because I think the other ones are famous too. It's just these ones most people that are watching this video will know. And that is basically John Paragon. I'll put his picture up in his name because you know I butcher names, guys. Helen Hunt and Aidan Quinn? I can't remember. I don't have the names in front of me, but I will put their names up. You will know most of them from movies. For example, our handsome prince. You might recognize him mostly for Pee-wee's Playhouse. Our main princess, our lovely little princess, Zora, she is Annie from Little Orphan Annie. And Helen Hunt, well, she does a lot more stuff. Like, for example, I believe she was in What Women Want and things like that. So, I absolutely love this movie. Like I said, you can tell from these pictures, guys, this is very low funded, but I love it. So the movie is basically about this princess named Zora, and she's 13 and a half. She's not like her older sister, who, you know, everyone sees as pretty and very eloquent and, you know, very princess-like. Well, on the special day, there's stuff going on, and she wants to know what it is. So she's asking around, and everyone's kind of like basically saying, oh, get out of here, little child. You know, this is not how princesses are supposed to be, blah, 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 blah. And the one time you actually see someone that should be polite to her is her sister, which is played by Helen Hunt. And that's Henrietta and her friend Dulcie. Now, Dulcie doesn't, but Henrietta kind of like makes fun of her and teases her and tells her a lie, which eventually gets our little Princess Zora in trouble with her uncle, the king. Now, you find out that the big issue going on in the movie is the king has been informed that this supervisor's coming in. I don't know why I would say supervisor, but anyway, this guy's coming in and he's going to tell the king which one of his nieces is a true princess, because one of them isn't and the other one is. So he's coming in to verify who's going to be like the person that's going to take over the crown. And the king doesn't like doing it because he doesn't want to hurt his niece's feelings. Well, unfortunately, Zora interrupts this conversation he's having with his advisors, which gets her in trouble. And then she confronts her sister, and her sister's just, you know, traditional older sibling, get out of my room, don't talk to me, you're pathetic, blah, blah, blah. I mean, she's not that harsh, but if you had older siblings, you probably know where that feeling comes from. I know I did. For most of my life, I was the youngest out of 3 siblings. Eventually, I became the middle child, but that's a whole nother story. So, so the king kind of gives Zora a heads up, like, hey, you know, you should try to be more princessy. Well, unfortunately, Zora comes into dinner dressed as a younger kid who doesn't know how a princess would appear. You know, she's got a bow on, she's got like feathers or flowers in her hair. She looks like, you know, a little kid dressed up as a princess for pretend. Which everyone kind of makes fun of her for. And this is where I want to just, like, if I was in this room, guys, if I was in this courtroom, I'd go up to every single person and smack them in the back of their head, like Gibbs style, you know, NCIS Gibbs style, smack them in the back of the head and say, well, how's she supposed to know when all y'all ignore her? Like, seriously, give her some help if you're gonna, instead of making fun of her. And you can see the king wants to, you know, defend Zora, but he doesn't know what to do. And I feel so bad, because the whole movie, Zora's just looking for a friend, someone to talk to. And she gets that out of our Ribbit, a 6-foot-tall frog, which he brings in he mentions that height, I believe, in his song, which is a cute little song. It's a nice little, you know, ditty. And so basically they become good friends, and finally Zora gets informed by her uncle in this uniquely funny scene with the frog. And by uniquely funny, I mean, as an adult, if you're with your buddies, you think it's cringe. But when you're solo, you're like, okay, I've done that. You know, that whole, there's the adult talking to somebody, and they're being very stern and very informative. You know, you need to do this and this and this. And you have your best friend behind them making faces. You know that joke happens. And I love it. So Zora finds out the reason why everything's going on is because one of the sisters is a princess. And Ribbit's like, I'll help you. I know about princes, so I shouldn't know. You know, I know about princesses. And Zora's like, really? You'll help me? And he's like, yeah, you're my friend. Duh. So one of my favorite iconic scenes of this movie, besides I love the first song, is the dance scene. And I love this scene just because of the fact that when I was a kid, now some of y'all probably have done this, don't lie, where you're a little kid and you're like, I'm gonna act out this scene because I love this scene. Nobody's home, it's just me, maybe a stuffed animal to, you know, be the counterpart person, and you're gonna act out this scene. This was one of my scenes. I have like a bunch because I'm just a nerd, but I danced out to this scene, loved it, it was so cute. Unfortunately, Henrietta and Dulcie see this, and Henrietta is mad because, oh no, my little sister is looking like a princess. I need to fix this problem. So after they help each other, the Ribbit helps Zora out. Zora gives him a gift, which he's totally not expecting. And we get the famous song that Mr. Donnie referenced and reviewed, which is Valentine. And I actually liked this song as a kid because it was more of a friendship song to me as a kid than a romantic song. But as an adult, you kind of know there's romanticism in there. But I liked it because it wasn't like, oh, let's get married, we'll live happily ever after. No, they basically talk about friendship, which I absolutely love because, you know, it's always, oh, they live happily ever after 2 minutes of seeing each other. No, didn't happen in this one. They became friends first. So na boo boo. And so yeah, they actually basically start realizing they like each other, da-da-da. Unfortunately, lovely Henrietta comes in, swoops in, kidnaps Ribbit, throws him in the scary dark forest with no water, and basically sentences him to death. The next morning, Zora's like, where's Ribbit? Does he hate me? Why isn't he here? Oh my gosh, hello? You're my only friend I got, because my sister's evil and nobody talks to me. So basically, Henrietta shows up and says, oh, you're looking for somebody? And, you know, Zora instantly was like, okay, what? You know, I let you get away with getting me in trouble with Uncle. What's your deal? I mean, I'm surprised she didn't just... My older self, my younger self would have acted like Zora. My older self would have been like, B, what'd you do with my friend? I beat you up. So basically, she tells Zora, oh, your best friend is in the dark, scary woods, blah, 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 with the most corniest name ever. I still love it, though. And Dulcie, who we find is not really wanting to be the evil henchman's sidekick, gives Zora a map saying, here, this is where he is. So Zora goes, of course, and rescues him. And like I said, spoiler alert. I'm not going to say this again. This is spoiler alert. If you want to go watch the movie, it is free on YouTube. But anyway, so obviously Zora finds him. But unfortunately, at the same time, the event is going on to see who's going to be the future princess. So, of course, Henrietta's getting all dolled up and pretty while Zora's going through this scary, horrible forest, tearing her dress for this event. Absolutely just getting demolished as far as, you don't look like a princess, honey. So the king comes up and he's like, Henrietta, where's your sister? What's going on? Da da da. And Henrietta's playing stupid. Like, oh, she knows she's gonna lose, so she's upset. And Dulcie's like, no. And the king's like, no, really, what's going on? And, Henrietta gets so mad and she's just like, da 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 da. So the king leaves, obviously not happy with the answer. And Henrietta, or Dulcie just calls out Henrietta on her bead. She's like, listen, I don't want to be your friend. I'd rather be Zora's friend. You're mean, heartless, and I don't like you. To which Henrietta's like, when I'm queen, I'll remember that. And it's like, oh my god, just smack her. Somebody needs to smack this entitled little woman. So just somebody. So, of course, Zora finds him, brings him back. Unfortunately, it's basically decided, by the time they get back, it's basically decided that Henrietta should be the queen. And at this point, Ribbit is turned into the prince that was in the story in the beginning. And he's like, no, you can do this. You're the princess. I know you're the princess. So he leaves Zora to basically talk to something magical to give her, a pretty dress and da-da-da. Cinderella, of course. So Ribbit charges in there and he's like, hey, y'all, you're wrong. She ain't the princess. Because only a princess could turn me back into a prince, and that's Princess Zora, and she's awesome, and da-da-da-da-da. Of course, Princess Zora comes in, decked out all pretty. And the iconic scene that I absolutely love, and this is the reason why I love this movie so much, was when Zora goes up to the guy that's in charge. He's like, wow, she's very delicate, she's very ladylike, Zora comes in very delicate, curtsies very low, is the stereotypical what you'd see as a princess. But the king chimes in, he says, yes, she is very beautiful, and she has the greatest beauty of all, and that is someone that is there for her friends. Boom, mic drop on that king, because that is something I absolutely love. He flat out said, doesn't matter. It matters if you care about your friends to give up everything to help a friend. And that is something I pledged to for many, many years. Caused me a lot of issues, but I still stand by that statement. It's a good statement. And that's why I love a lot of the canon film movies, because they have a lot of hidden messages. I mean, here's Zora, who doesn't have any friends, kind of just hangs out by herself, is constantly ridiculed by everybody, but she's constantly nice, happy, and trying to work it out. In fact, when the whole Henrietta throws her under the bus and gets her in trouble with the uncle, she doesn't throw Henrietta back under the bus saying, well, Henrietta said it was okay. She tried to, but then she realized, you know what, it's not going to change anything. And she constantly is trying to be nice and polite and friendly to everybody, no matter how lonely she feels. And I love that aspect of her, because I do. I saw a lot of myself as a child when I watched the show, and to this day I still see a lot of that past resemblance, and that's why I love this movie. But anyway, go check it out. Like I said, it's free on YouTube. I will do some more reviews of other movies by the canon fairy tales, because I love them. Anyway, talk to you guys later. Bye!